Well, hello, baby gorillas, and I'm here with the one, the only Craig Houston, fresh back from Belfast. Very interesting documentary or ground news that you did yesterday, and congratulations on becoming the leader of the Scottish, the Scottish Social Democratic Party leader, and well done for that, and well done for going to jail as well.
Hopefully that's not going to happen.
You and Dave, I like Dave as well. Dave's great, and so is Ash as well. They're all terrific. Yeah, I mean, did you see my video of me being lied about outside the Labour conference party about the women saying that I'd said something about her being black and a bitch?
No, I never seen you. I seen you getting challenged by Peter. That's terrible. Peter Smith.
Oh yeah, right, twice. No, that wasn't. I was outside the Labour Party conference, and this woman who was. I was outside, so I was filming in a public space, and the woman was at the door of the SECC, and I was just footing around with the actual camera to get it up and operational. And she came over and said, "Have you got a license for this?"
All right.
And I went, "I don't need a license for filming outside." And you came away from the door where you were doing it, and to challenge me about a license that I don't need to film in a public place. And she then went back and told the police that I called her a black bitch or something like that.
No way.
And she total lies. I got arrested.
Did you hit record by this point?
No, it was just before I hit record. I know the police asked if I had actually got the documentation, because she would have been caught lying, and I think it was the Labour Party that got her to do that in connection with the police, and then they came over and lied. And this is the thing that these guys need to do, and we need to do, is actually have a system where we do polygraph tests, because I got arrested. That screwed up my days filming at the Labour Party conference, and that was a complete scupper of the day, and I was arrested. So they're blatantly lying to get people like us arrested, and they'll lie.
Are you being charged?
No, they didn't have any proof. So it was only my word against hers, which I'm sure a lot of the people here is going to be in that situation. But it was a false allegation against me, and I should have been able to then do a polygraph test. She should have had to do a polygraph test, and then we would have found out who actually lied. I didn't look at her, so I don't even know what she looked like. I couldn't pick her out in a lineup, and I think it was the Labour Party that did that deliberately, and they got her to actually come up and do it, because they'd already been harassing me before that, and they wouldn't let us into the conference as well. So they're actively lying to make false allegations to actually prosecute people. Mm-hmm. And that's what's happened obviously with you as well, and with Dave. But the councillor who was making clearly racist and flagrantly racist and sexist remarks, none of that to her. No, from your point of view, I'm talking about your case. The woman the councillor who was making flagrantly racist and sexist remarks.
Well, that's an opinion you have.
No, it's my opinion. That's definitely my opinion. Yeah.
Just to clarify that, because real conditions.
Thank you. Yeah. I can't say it, yeah. But I could say it though. I could. I understand that you can't, but yeah. And I certainly felt discriminated. But I was just having a comment here. This is social justice. So social justice is you have the press and the presser, and you treat certain groups differently. That's a communist term. I don't know if you know this. This is a Marxian term, social justice. This is not a justice system, and that's why these people are doing a silent protest here, because we have got either communist adjacent or communist backing certain communist principles that are bringing in through the Scottish Parliament into through the Parliament into Scottish law, and then you're getting discrimination based on groups, genders, sexes, what they call race. Obviously, race is a social construct, and then obviously with false allegations. So my point is that I would bring in polygraph tests, and if I would have the right to demand, if I were getting falsely accused, the right to demand a polygraph test and demand that the accuser, or if the accuser doesn't want to take it, then they go to jail. It's a criminal offence not to do the polygraph test. because then you actually find out who the liars are.
Good point, yeah. That sounds like a fair idea.
Because my word against yours, say you and I get in a fight and you started it and you said I started it, and then and the police didn't investigate it properly.
If you and I get in a fight, it definitely you that started it. I'm far more mild-mannered. Despite public opinion.
So, but you understand the principle though. So what's your thoughts about the SDP? And are you going to come on? I've done 6 interviews with 6 of. Have you seen them?
No.
I've done
They're
6.
too long. I can't come out of time. You told me how long you did them for, I thought.
3 years.
No, not for me.
Oh no, it'd be good to get it.
I'll not be good to sit in for 3 years.
I'm telling you, you definitely won't be bored.
We'll do a wee half hour or something. It's not a problem.
Okay.
It just won't drive me insane. But if you're a debating idea like an X-Space and stuff, they go in for hours, and that's good because there's other people. But it would drive me insane talking about politics for 3 years. I couldn't think of anything more interesting.
Yeah, well, it's good if you're. I mean, obviously you're the leader, so it's good for people to get an understanding not just of you but of the SDP.
I could video and do that in 10 minutes.
I know.
I don't need to for 3 years.
Not if you're answering the questions. And also, one of the things we do is the political compass test for the parties.
Yeah.
So what we're
basically not interested.
So what? Let me
explain why. See left and right. What a nonsense. Not interested in that. Not even talking about it and doing the road because that's giving us half this problem there. If it's no liked in public, you're right. Now let me ask you 2 questions. Right? I'll try and explain why I believe it's a lot of nonsense. Do you believe most of the people in the United Kingdom back National Health Service?
Yeah, I would say so.
Do you believe the majority of people in the country have concerns on the level of immigration? Not like they want none, because that would be. Do you think that's right? So what we've just realised there is, given the responsibility to the state for our own health is a left of centre policy.
Yeah.
Worried about protecting our borders is a right of centre policy. Right. So everybody's left and right. And then what we do now, we talk about everything's got to be extreme. So if you're like bent to the left, you're a communist. If you're to the right, you're a fascist racist, right? So I go, we need to change the narrative here. Let's stop talking about left and right and going, oh well, if that's left, I'm not interested. If that's right, I'm not interested. Let's just discuss what's right and wrong. Right
so you're basically saying just identify policy rather than actually,
because if you think about it, the most right-wing party in Britain, who I'm not even sure who that is anymore.
No,
right?
I agree.
Are they not allowed to have a health service?
Believing in national health
that's left of centre.
And
if you're the furthest left, you've got to say, well, we've got to vote in borders. That's kind of.
Well, I think Nigel has pitched to the left as well, especially to get more of the red wall, and he's pitched reform now with certain policies to the left as well, isn't he?
So
he's a combination.
I done a talk down in the London School of Economics.
Oh, did you?
3 weeks ago.
Right.
And I was around for 400 people, all very politically motivated, right? And I said to them, I'm going to prove a couple of things to you. I'm going to prove I'm the least knowledgeable with politics in this room. That will not take me long, right? And the other thing I want you to do is to try and get us to agree with where I am in my head in politics. And I've done the same as I've done with you and with a show of hands. The first person to put a hand up twice was Lord David Owen.
Wow.
And then I went, so, you're a communist. Why? Because you're like national health. But now we've realised the whole room is actually right-wing fascist racist because they want a reduction in immigration. Right, so can we just put this to bed and start talking about identifying issues in society and policies that will fix them? That's kind of where we need to be. And if they're slightly left, I couldn't care less. So would I want to sit down and go through a compass of where no, I'm not interested because it's language I'm not going to use. I'm not interested in you think, no, can we talk about right and wrong rather than right and left?
So what's the projection then? You've got a year to go before the next election. What is the plan? What's the game plan for the SDP then?
Well, the first thing we need to do is we now, because of the way we're constituted, we now have the Scottish members can actually write policy which is unique to Scotland. And so we've got the UK-wide policy, and only as long as they have devolved power. So anything that's a devolved power in Scotland, those Scottish members can now write that policy. To be fair, I've seen it with my own eyes when I went down to the conference last year. The rank and file members come up off the floor, present a document, discuss it, vote on it, and accept it or don't accept it. So the Democratic Party. So I've seen it in front of my own eyes, and knowing that we can do that in Scotland now was one of the biggest attractions to join the party. So now what we need to do is start talking to our members first of all and say, what is important to you? What can we really have a positive effect on? And come up with some key line we've got some great policies at national level. Now we need to marry that in with 2 or 3 that are unique to Scotland. And I've got some ideas, but they just know the side these policies in the Democratic Party. So we need to talk to our members, get some ideas flowing for them, put that together, and then as we get closer to election, then talk to everybody that can vote in Scotland at Longwood and say,
well, I know a lot. I don't know if you know, but I know a lot of the guys who were in the SDP up here as well before, because they've been running for a period of time, and a lot of them are sound as well. A lot of them are actual, what I would class them as libertarians, in the fact they believe in freedom of speech, smaller government, but they still believe in a bit of a government. But
if you want to know the freedom of speech, when I happened to me a fortnight ago on Friday with the issue with the police, I fully expected the parties to do what parties were doing, suspend at that time, then have a look at it, and then make a decision. No, the SDP saw the things against me. They've obviously been privy to private things, and can't share out loud at this point. And they went out right to Sunday night and totally backed me. And you think, you're going to kid on about free speech. You know what I mean? That party's sound. And that's not what I expected. And I wouldn't have if they'd have done what I thought they would have done. I wouldn't have had any problem with that. I thought that's what's going to happen. But they didn't. They went to complete
and then they made you leader.
No, I was already the leader.
Oh, were you?
I'd been the leader for like 10 days before. There's a process to get through, and the first people was, you respect, you're going to tell your members. So all the stuff was getting written up to do that, and put it into the public domain on our websites to announce it. But I'd already done. I'd been the leader for like a week, 10 days before my arrest. And only a few people knew that. And I'll not be discussing that on camera at this point, who they were. But when I can, it'll be interesting.
Well, you can come on the Guerrilla TV channel and do it. If you're going to do something else, one last thing. Obviously, Scotland has predominantly been led by Social Democrats, whether they're Unionists or Nationalists. I would say Jack McConnell was a Social Democrat. I would say what's his face? Who was the guy that Dewar was a Social Democrat. I would say Henry McLeish was a Social Democrat. I would say Alex Salmond, even though that's a Nationalist Unionist thing, he was a Social Democrat. So I would have said that they were all Social Democrats. What's the difference between your social democracy and the stuff we've already had?
I don't know anyone personally, but I'd love to have met Alex Salmond before he died, and that was due to happen. There was an ex-cabinet minister that I spoke to, and I said, I hated that man for one reason, and that was because he was so close to getting independence that I'm opposed to. But as things went on, you were seeing how he was treated. I thought I'd love to get a chat with him, and I was talking to an ex-cabinet member of his government, and he went, I'll sort that for you. So that's where the thing was heading.
Well, let me tell you, obviously, you know, I did a lot of the recording when he was getting persecuted as well. We cover a lot of people who are getting persecuted by the state as well. And I spoke to Alex after, and I spoke to him down at Edinburgh Uni when he did a show down at Edinburgh Uni, and we nearly got him on the Guerrilla TV channel before he died as well. We were trying to make things.
So, and listen, my idea of social democracy is what it says in the tin, it's a democracy. So if you slightly disagree with somebody, as a group you say, well, we're going to do this, then that's what we do.
Craig, always a pleasure on the Guerrilla TV channel. Thanks, congratulations.